welcome in live to Around the Corn Belt League's main podcast every Wednesday at 5. We're starting a little bit late, getting everything set up for our first podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Taylor, alongside everybody here. We're going to have a bunch of different reporters coming in here throughout the different weeks. It's going to be a bunch of fun, get different players, and get the inside to really the best summer baseball league that you're going to see inside of Nebraska. Again, my name is Jaden Taylor. Logan Moseley is with us the other end. Tyler Reidy, you see right there. Arnav Pokhrel and Alex Tejan will be here today. We're talking just Corn Belt League, summer ball, going to be a lot of different fun. So, first I'm going to go with you, Tyler. You're looking at the Red Raiders this season, a group that is very different from last year. It's a lot of new guys. Last year, of course, Filth Ballers being the champions here. They're able to go to the Kansas Summer League tournament is kind of what they call it down there. This year, there's a lot of different teams that have a lot of contention because there's a lot of different new guys. Tyler, for you, for the Red Raiders and everything, what are you seeing for them this season?
I'm seeing a lot of hitting. We got a couple guys that are coming off strong finishes to the season. That includes Tyler Beasley. He's a freshman coming from Minnesota Morris. First team all UMAC selection. And in the month of May, he was huge for Minnesota Morris, hitting 18 for 39, driving in 11 runs, and that was just in an 11-game sample size. Gabe Bertetic as well. Didn't have a huge season average-wise, only hitting 232, but did have an 8-game hit streak and a 12-game on-base streak in there. So a lot of consistency, a lot of strong finishes to the season, and a lot to build on, hitting-wise especially for the Red Raiders. Great pitching as well coming from Josh Austin, who had 9 appearances, 2.08 ERA with Minnesota Morris, and he was a first-team All-UMAC selection as well.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing you're going to think about, I want to ask you this one and some other guys this too. I think the biggest question that we're going to see in this league is how well can the pitching do, right? I mean, you're playing 6 to 7 games or 7 games throughout a week. Time span, the only day you're getting off is Wednesdays, and a lot of times with a little more of a stricter setup pitching-wise with the limits for this group, you may see some position players pitching, which is fun, but definitely not as competitive sometimes with other leagues. What do you guys think the biggest thing is going to be for the coaching staff, the managerial staff overall, to make sure that whatever team is going to be able to make this one long and have a really good regular season is able to do it with good pitching?
I mean, for me, I think it all starts this week in this limited amount of time you have to practice, to get a routine set for your players, to get a comfort level established so that these guys can come in each and every day and feel comfortable with the situation, that they can develop a routine and just have a way to manage their bodies and go throughout the season feeling well.
I think another thing is with the managerial side of things, you have to know when to pull your pitchers. If you have a game the next day that you want an ace for, you have to know, okay, I can only use him for a certain amount of pitches during this day. Okay, I can rest him this day. It's all about managing the game schedule, looking ahead to games. Another huge thing is player versatility. The team that I'm reporting for, the Omaha Bombers, there's a lot of different positions that are being played by the same person. We know we're going to talk to a player who plays just about every position on the field. He's catcher, he's listed as an infielder and an outfielder. So huge player versatility is going to be huge in this league, especially with the amount of games that you're playing. Things like that are going to be huge for the managerial side of things to look at for the players.
And yeah, furthering on to what Arnav was saying, player versatility is going to be key in this league. Some other things that you kind of have to think about, though, is when it really is this first week that is going to be huge, because that is how your pacing is going to be for those pitch counts and stuff like that, those different limits for those players. And that's kind of where things like towards later end of the season, once we get to that playoff start, the All-Star break, whatever it might be, you have to kind of think about there. Those breaks are going to be huge, especially Wednesdays, because that's where you're not going to play. You might want to put your ace in on a Tuesday, maybe halfway through on a Tuesday, so that way he rests up Wednesday and he's available for maybe a big game on Friday.
Going to what all of you guys have said, managing what you have. You have your practice, having your practice throughout the week and all that, and managing what you have for players, what positions they play. Kind of what Arnav said, I'm covering the haymakers. Most of them do have different players go to different positions as well. You got to manage the time you're practicing and what the players have been playing all around the league, and when they could use a break, as what Logan said.
Yeah, and I think going into that too, we talk about the ability for coaches to know where they're going to put their guys, how consistent can they put their guys in one area or another, and how versatile they can use their roster, right? Another thing here is the chemistry, right? I mean, you're bringing in guys, 170 kids from 90 different colleges, some from Nebraska, some from outside. I think the furthest that I've seen is way out in East Texas. We've seen a couple guys from further on in past years. But again, a lot of different guys that we're going to see all meshing really quickly. And really, this is the first week of practice for these guys. How do you guys feel that chemistry is going to be an issue or possibly a good thing, especially in these first couple weeks?
I think the big thing is finding those groups of people that you could surround yourself with. Obviously, I'm going to talk a lot about the Bombers because that's my team, but a lot of guys on that team are from Nebraska colleges. I think the huge thing is for those players that are outside of the Nebraska state colleges to get assimilated into that culture really quickly, because usually the Nebraska college players play in a similar game schedule. Obviously, NAIA Division II, you've got divisions that are different, but a lot of them play during that same season because of the weather here in Nebraska. So if you have players that are from, let's say, Pennsylvania, let's say Texas, it's managing that different schedule and finding where you are able to assimilate yourself into a group, into that culture that the team is building, and helping your team gain some chemistry and win some games later on in the season.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting too to think about that, because you talk about Texas baseball versus Nebraska baseball, and it's two different things. To be fully honest, whatever you want to say, it's going to be two different things. I know guys that are starting their seasons in late January down in Texas and down in Florida, and have already played some travel ball to be on top of that, plus whatever they're going on right now past high school. So they're used to those long types of seasons. I think that may be an advantage for them for through a long summer, an additional 28 games you're playing through a 2-month time span. It's a little bit longer, probably on your body and stuff like that. So I think those guys will have maybe a little bit more of an advantage. Would you think so as the same?
Yeah, and I think another thing is looking at the divisions. Like the NAIA teams, they play a 55-game season in the span of 4, maybe 3.5 months, depending on where you're located. So a big thing is for those NAIA guys who are playing a long season, knowing that when you need to limit yourself, knowing when you can push yourself is going to be huge for those Division III and other players to assimilate themselves into. I've said assimilate a lot because it's the only word that's coming to my mind right now. But just knowing your limits and being able to communicate that is going to be huge here in this 28-game season.
And as far as chemistry is concerned, I think we have to remember the type of daily grind that this sport is. You're going up every single day, showing up, getting on that grind, getting into the dog days of summer, and it's going to be all about pushing each other to get better. All these guys are here to get better, so they're going to want to do that to each other throughout this season.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Once we come back, we're going to get a quick interview from Joey B., part of the Bombers.
Arnav, scoot a little closer. And reposition the mic too, so that you're kind of both talking. Arnav, wait, what if I just? Yeah. Oh boy, that one. Take this mic.
There we go. That's good. This is not All right, there we go. Perfect. And there it goes.
Can you see me in that camera? No, you're good. Camera 3 is over there now, so I'm not
All right, we are back on Around the Corner. We have our first interview of the day, a player doing just about everything for the Bombers this season, Joey Burrell. We'll send it over to Arnav Pokhrel. We'll talk with him real quick.
Yeah, I'm here with Joey from the Bombers. Nice to meet you. Burrell is a player from Penn State Beaver. You want to talk about how you've been playing in that college realm of things? How's it like playing at Penn State Beaver?
Lots of rain. I'll say that we had like almost 60% of our games like rained out and rescheduled. So it was a little bit tough trying to like squeeze in everything into the like last week of our season. So there was a little bit of adversity coming in with that, but we made it work. So it was fun.
And kind of mentioning the rain, what's the difference been like? Obviously, you haven't been in Omaha for too long. So what's the move been like from playing in Pennsylvania to now playing in Nebraska? How's the weather? How are the people different? Tell me a little bit about what you're experiencing from that side.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like Pennsylvania, there's kind of people everywhere, so it's pretty dense there. Just like even in the small towns, there's just always people everywhere. And coming here, it's like you see a lot of people on the road. But like I was eating at Chipotle, and I was like 5:30 in the afternoon, and I was the only one in the store, and that was just kind of strange. But I don't know. It's nice the spread out of it all. So I kind of enjoy it out here a lot. But I like how baseball crazy this town is. It's really cool. I love that about it.
Yeah, and so you mentioned playing with the team. Playing like you just had media day on Sunday. It hasn't been too long that you've been with your teammates. So how are you getting adjusted into that kind of sort of thing? You know, meeting a ton of new guys, like meeting a new team, basically.
Yeah.
No one that you've really played with before because you're coming from so far away. A lot of the
Right.
guys are locally based from Nebraska colleges. How are you trying to get yourself into that culture and see what your teammates are giving from around you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird trying to memorize another 23 names in like 5 days. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve for sure, but I mean, we all speak baseball. That's what we're here to do, so that won't be too big of a deal. I've made the move from my hometown in Las Vegas to Pennsylvania. I can come halfway back, me in the middle. I'll be all right.
Perfect. And keeping on the conversation with baseball, you play a lot of positions. You're
Yeah.
listed as catcher, you're listed in the infield and outfield.
Yeah.
So being versatile is huge, especially in this league where there's a lot of games in a short time span.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think your workload's going to be throughout this year? Do you think you're going to be playing most games at a certain position, or are you just like, wherever they'll put me, I'm going to play it and play it to the best of my
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what I did. Growing up, I was just kind of moved around because I had a lot of coaches' kids, let's say that. And so growing up, I just learned how to play in the outfield, learned how to play in the infield, just where everybody wasn't. And I was like, I'm actually going to like kind of take this a little seriously because if there's an open place, I'm going to go and get it. So, I mean, I could even play first base. I have a first baseman in my back in case duty calls. So, yeah, I mean, I really like the versatility of that part of my game, and I think it's really important for a team to have. And as far as like where I'm going to play, I mean, that's up to the coaches. I haven't even met my coach, Austin Alexander, yet. He's still making his way back from the NAIA World Series. Say that 5 times fast.
Right.
But yeah, so where he puts me, I'm just gonna work my butt off at any position. And if there's if he wants me in the outfield one game and then moves me to second base and then has me pitch an inning, like I love that. I love that so much. So whatever he wants me to do, I'll be able to answer the call.
Yeah, and mentioning Coach Austin, he's still up with Bellevue. They had a pretty decent run in the NAIA tournament. They made it all the way to the College World Series, which is hosted in Idaho, so you haven't met him. So
Yeah.
How's the team kind of going about that with a coach that's been pretty absent? Albeit he's a great coach and he's done great things
Yeah.
at Bellevue, but now you're kind of left without a coach through these 5 days when he gets back. So
I think it's all right. We had Guido and a couple other coaches come in, so it was our first outdoor practice was pretty relaxed. But it was kind of nice just being able to meet the guys and just say, oh, hey, these are our coaches. And we did infield work, we did outfield work, we did bullpens, and I participated in just about all of that. But yeah, no, we were looking over, I think it was the Red Raiders at the other field, and we were like, wow, they look like the military compared to us right now, just because of how relaxed the environment was. But I'm sure he'll toughen us up a little bit. So there's something that we'll probably miss there. But I think we'll be okay. Like I said, we're all college baseball players, and we all have a high respect for a coach who's taking his team to the World Series. So I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, and we're just going to jump around here. We're going back to Omaha as a city.
Okay.
What brought you to the Corn Belt? Obviously big move. So how'd you hear about this, and how'd you get into the Corn Belt League itself?
Okay, so last year there was a coach who came in and filled in. He actually used to be my high school coach back in high school, obviously. And so he came and filled in 1 year, and then he told me about it and say, hey, this is a really good opportunity for you. Let me, forward you some information. I looked at it and I was like, this is a place that like I think I need to be to further my baseball career. So, I found out about it, applied, got it, and it's been pretty cool. So.
All right. Well, we are excited to see you in the Corn Belt this year. We'll be keeping an eye out for the Bombers. I will especially. I'm going to send it back to Jaden here. Close things out with Joey B over here.
Yeah, I thought just a couple more questions to work with.
Yeah.
I know a big thing for summer teams, I know it's a lot more present in hockey with a lot of guys moving around so much. What's it been like having to have a host family?
I mean, it hasn't been that bad. I mean, I actually love my host family. They're pretty awesome. I mean, it's a little weird moving in with a family that you don't know. I called them 2 or 3 times, and that was it. And all of a sudden, I'm living in their house. It's a little bit of a weird dynamic, but they've been awesome, really welcoming me into their fold there, and just living in their spare bedroom and say hi, hang out with them. It's been a good dynamic. I really appreciate them. Shout out to the Wallens family.
So what do you feel, I mean, for you, there's different reasons different guys play summer ball, whether they want to build their status, they want to build an opportunity to maybe transfer later to a bigger college. Sometimes they just want to be able to have an opportunity to play with a bunch of guys they know. What is your hope here to be a part of the Corn Belt League?
I mean, I just wanted to play summer baseball because I just wanted the opportunity, really, and I saw this. It offered me baseball. It offered me a place to work out, a place to sleep, and a job also. So that's pretty awesome. I'll be working at the strike zone and doing some of the games with you guys. So I'm really excited about it, and I really like the opportunity, so I took it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. We'll take a quick break here on Around the Corner. Once we come back, we'll talk to a couple more coaches, a couple more players, and talk a little more about the league.
Thank you. How's the time crunch looking
Welcome back to Around the Corn. Real quick, we're going to talk to the head of operations of the Corn Belt League as well as Strike Zone, one of the partners with the Corn Belt League this season. Tyler Reidy, we'll send it to you.
All right, here with Joe Siwa.
How you doing?
Thanks for sitting down with us. So first of all, just tell the viewers a little bit about what you do here as Director of Operations and how the league's grown here in recent years.
You bet. We're working with MVP for Life. We're the managing partner for the Corn Belt Summer Collegiate League. I'm excited to be directing it again for my 6th year. We're very happy where the league is going right now and where it's headed. We started with 4 teams here in Omaha 6 years ago, and we're excited to meet our goal, which is 8 teams competing this summer. So we're excited.
So how's it been just getting the league up and running? We've got opening day coming up very soon, early next week. So how's the process been going, getting the league up and running for this year?
Yeah, it was a lot of preparation to get going, to recruit 180 college athletes to come to Omaha and compete in this league. We have to have a lot of colleges and universities supporting it. And I think this year there's over 90 schools that are involved in what we're doing. So we're excited. It's a process getting the kids here, especially the out-of-state kids, and getting them settled in with their host parents and their host families, getting their jobs lined up for them. A lot of these kids are working and making some money during the day, and then getting them with their coaches and starting their practices. Every team is assigned 2 indoor practices and 2 outdoor practices to kind of to gel a little bit, to get the chemistry going. And then from there, we go right to start on June 6th. So we're excited.
So what are some of the takeaways and lessons that you learned from last season that you plan on bringing into this one here in 2022?
To continue what we're doing. It's a grind. Just like a baseball player would tell you, it's day-to-day work and follow the process and work on it. And I think we've done that. We're fortunate enough to build on that by getting more people involved in the league. Our goal this year, or actually our goal for the last 5 years, was to put a quality product on the field that could compete, and we did that. Now we're going for that phase of let's get the community behind what we're doing. Let's build a fan base and have them come out and see some great baseball and see what it takes to play at that next level.
Now you mentioned that 8th team joined the league, the Crop Dusters, and I think we can all agree here that the logo is fantastic. We haven't seen them play a game yet, and they're already winning. But tell us a little bit about your excitement level for that new 8th team.
Yeah, we were excited. After last year, we had 7 teams in the league, and we had a waiting list of probably about 15, 20 kids that were trying to get in. Unfortunately, they waited too long to get registered. We probably could have put an 8 team together. We just didn't have the arms. And this is a league that's going to have to carry it by having enough arms on each team because it's a long process. 2 months. Our goal is for these kids not to be injured or get hurt by the time the summer finishes, and they go back healthy in the fall to play baseball. But when we had this opportunity to do this 8 team and we had a little voting contest and a naming right contest, it was awesome to see the different names that came through. And this one kind of touched our hearts of the Corn Belt League, so I think it's a great fit.
Yeah, that's awesome. So finally, before I send it back down to Jaden, what are your hopes and goals for this upcoming season? What do you hope to be able to say about the Corn Belt League when we finish this thing out in July?
Yeah, it's development. Development is what we want. This is a competitive league, but it's a developmental league. These kids are here to get better and work at their positions and work on their skill and their craft. All of them have been given exit interviews from their college coaches telling them what they need to do to improve on and get better. And we're a means for that. We're an avenue for them to work on that by giving them the facility indoors here to work out at, the strength training rooms and everything, and the coaches' knowledge that we have. So our goal is that we develop them, they go back to their colleges and universities, and their coaches see that improvement in their player.
All right, JT, back down to you.
Yeah, another thing to talk about with this league is some of the field improvements you guys have had out at Seymour Smith. A really cool, different look you guys have been adding this year. What is how has that exactly helped this group this year?
Yeah, we really were looking for that home ballpark, and it's nice that we can work with the city of Omaha at one of their most iconic fields, J.J. Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park, and they gave us the reins to kind of do a little bit more with it, upgrade it a little bit. We're doing the wind fence, wind screens going around, so it feels like an enclosed stadium, which is nice. The logos that are going to go on the outfield fence are going to be incredible. The playing surface that the city parks people have done for us, the improvements they've made from what it was like last year, phenomenal. So these kids are playing on a Division I level playing surface at a city ballpark, which is awesome for us.
So with it, I mean, you talked a lot about just the growth that this league has had that just continued to getting bigger. What's next for this league?
Yeah, I think again, it's just getting the word out and getting the college coaches to see this and know what we're trying to grow for their kids. And I think having you guys involved with our program, having the different networks and radios involved in it, is really going to help build the opportunity for the community to know what's going on. So.
Thank you so much. We'll see you on.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right, so we'll take another quick break. Once we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the league, get a couple coaches we're going to talk about for the Royal Blue Dogs, maybe see a little bit of the Haymakers. Got a lot more here on Around the Corner. quick, we're going to go around the Corn here, around the Corn Belt League, talk about some of our reporters, and talk about some of these teams. Starting off, Alex Tejan with the Haymakers.
So the Haymakers, coached by Kellen Richards, the Haymakers were, I believe, last in the entire league last year. And I'm pretty sure that I'm very certain that they always obviously want to improve. So I think with all the players they have, with the good coaching experience that they have in Kellen Richards, I just look forward to seeing how they do and how they improve from how they did last year.
Yeah, again, you talk about a lot of different guys for this whole league, a lot of new guys back and forth, just bring new guys in and out. It'll be interesting to see. I think, again, we talked about it, the pitching staffs will be the biggest factor, at least personally in my mind, for all of these teams this season. How long can these pitching staffs go, and how healthy can they stay be? Again, I don't think that'll be an issue that's never really been an issue in this league, but again, that can still be something to talk about, is keeping guys healthy, keeping guys available for as long as possible, especially in big games. All right, Logan, now we'll talk to the head coach in Guido a little bit, looking at the Royal Blue Dogs, some high school guys that are on this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a young team. You got a few guys that graduated last year, and then also you have a few guys that are coming straight out of high school. I mean, it's a good mix of experience on the roster. Guido, he's had 30-plus years, crazy amount of experience. So I'm assuming that he's hoping to bring back. But we'll learn more in just a few moments. What he can bring to this team is going to be very important. Last year they didn't finish too great in standings, but they've also got a JUCO player on their team, which JUCO, most people know it as that is how usually it's just an improvement of grades to get to the right level. That's kind of what junior colleges are known for. But then also you have the Creighton commit Devin Jones on the team, who could be an impactful piece on this roster if they want to go far.
So big thing for this team, I mean, a lot of times when a lot of guys will call into this league, we'll look for, okay, can we get some teams together with some of the guys from the same colleges, right? So Southeast Community College, stuff like that. Iowa Western brings a lot of guys back as well. See a lot of Jayhawk schools that are coming to this league a little bit. You see them there, as well as some Independence League, Exhibition League, see them and all those kind of leagues, stuff like that. For the Blue Dogs, you see a lot from Arizona Christian University, as well as Southeast Community College, and a couple guys as well from Northeast Community College to see on this team. You talk about Cuddy George. He had a really big, I actually played with him a couple years ago with Westside. He's got a very big bat when he needs to. A guy that can put into the gaps very well. You're not going to hang him any kind of fastballs. He's going to hit it, or excuse me, hang any kind of curveballs or any off speed in front of him. He will hit well. But again, so how do you feel that with a lot of different guys on these two teams, or this team specifically, that are from a lot of the same 2 or 3 schools, do you think that can help their chemistry?
Yeah, I think it will, and Guido will be on in just a few minutes, I would think. I'm going to ask him that specific question because talking to some of the players at the Pro Day, it really seemed like that they have reached out to each other and formed a connection on, we know these guys, we're going to the same college. There was one guy I was talking to that was roommates with another person. I don't remember off the top of my head if it was for the Blue Dogs, but still, I mean, these guys, I think it's like 5 or 6 different schools, all just have either a duo or a trio of players that just form, I guess, connect together easily because they go to the same school. I think it's going to be very impactful. Just that connectedness, the unity from being from the same college or high school or whatever it is really going to help out the Blue Dogs.
All right, so with this, we'll talk a little bit more. So Tyler, I'm going to go to you. Tyler, I'm going to go to you for the Red Raiders. There's a couple different guys that we're going to see for this team. This is a group that really wants revenge from last year, to a little bit of an upset later in the postseason last year for this group. Again, different group really, but for the team overall, a different outlook this season for them.
Yeah, and I think one thing that you can count on when it comes to the Red Raiders is that they're going to play their best baseball at the end of the year. Once you get past Independence Day into mid-July, while the weather's getting hotter, I think their bats are going to get hotter as well. You see so many of these players who finished incredibly well with their spring seasons. I talked about Tyler Beasley and how he raked in the month of May. Dalton Nelson from Millard North High School. He went to Millard North. He's sophomore out of Southeast Community College now, finished the year on an 8-game hit streak in which he drove in 11 runs in those 8 games. And then Josh Austin, the Elkhorn native I talked about earlier, the freshman at Minnesota Morris with that 2.08 ERA, finished the year with 9 consecutive scoreless innings. So this team's going to play its best baseball down the stretch, and a deep playoff run could certainly be in the cards for them.
Yeah, I think one guy to talk about personally for me for the Omaha Red Raiders, Gabe Bretetic. One of the only guys that we see currently going and playing at a Division I college in Bellarmine. I mean, talk about him a little bit. He can be a catcher, play a little bit of second and third as well, kind of like a David Fletcher type of look. How do you feel he can be an impact here, especially for one of the biggest guys to at least play at the comparatively biggest level?
Yeah, there are two words that come to mind when I think of Gabe Bretetic. It's aggressive, but also pretty streaky. There are going to be some times where he's racking up the strikeouts. He had some issues with that in the spring, striking out 39 times and only walking 16 times, but also put together a 9-game hit streak, a 12-game on-base streak. So it can be a little bit hot and cold with him, but if you put him at the top or the bottom of that lineup, when he's on one of those runs where he's getting on base, he can be a huge, not necessarily run producer, but run creator. For sure.
All right, so Arnav, I'll go to you a little bit to talk about the Bombers a little bit. Again, the biggest thing I think it's going to be a theme throughout the season, I talked about it before, the pitching staffs. How can these pitching staff just elongate themselves throughout this season? How do you feel the Bombers pitching staff can really put together a good season here?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is versatility, knowing that you can throw these pitches, but you also need to be able to play in the outfield, and you can't get an injury there because that would be a huge blow for the team. You got pitchers, you got Matt Johnson from Bellevue. He's been having a great season down at Bellevue. You got Jackson Creek, also from Bellevue. This is kind of a Bellevue-based team, obviously with the Bellevue head coach. And Bellevue University doing some great things in the NAIA. They made it to the World Series. Lost 2 games, they also won 1. So a pretty good showing for Bellevue in that NAIA tournament. And so Coach Austin Anderson is traveling back from Idaho. So the biggest thing for that pitching staff is knowing where your limits are and being able to extend yourself and give them more pitches per team that you are playing against. And another thing that I think is huge for the Bombers is being able to play in different positions. Over half the players are listed in at least 2 different positions. You got players able to play any corner of the infield. You've got first basemen who are also can pitch. You've got the player who we just talked to, Joseph Brill, who plays just about everywhere on the field. He's only listed at catcher, outfield, but he's told us he pitched. He's told us he played second. So it's huge for the versatility of this league to be able to extend yourself past just pitching and being able to extend yourself into the field and provide your team those minutes that they need from the team.
So we talked about the NAIA guys, some guys in Division II, Division III baseball, the NCAA level, some NGCAA guys, the JUCO level, and it really is only 2 or 3 guys that we're seeing at the Division I level for the NCAA. The biggest conference that we are seeing of players here in this league is the GPAC, the Great Plains Athletic Conference. Midland, we see St. Mary's a little bit, that whole group, a lot of different teams. You're talking about Doane, Hastings a little bit. You're going to see Jamestown, a couple guys from there as well. It's a mainly based Midwest, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Kansas, a couple different places like that in the Midwest. Do you feel those type of guys to have a league like this is going to be, the GPAC league? Do you think that can help out in any way for this conference?
Yeah, I think being in the GPAC is huge. Just because you are used to the area, you're used to the weather that you're playing in. You're not coming from, let's say Texas. You're not coming from. I know a few years back there was a player from USC. You're not coming from California to play in Nebraska. It's a huge weather difference. And you mentioned this earlier. It's 2 different types of baseball. One of them, the ball travels further. The ball travels less. So being in the same conference, even as your opponents, gives you a huge advantage because you're able to play the style of baseball that fits the area. Whereas your opponents, if they're not from the same conference, they're gonna be a little bit struggling to find how hard they need to hit the ball, the launch angles. Those are all things that you don't really think about when it comes to it, but in the moment of the game, it really does matter.
All right, we're gonna take another quick break. Once we come back, a little more interviews with some of the coaches here in the Corn Belt League.
Because I think that gives one time for Bombers practice to finish so that we can catch him on the way out.
corn. I'll get real quick. Back on around the corner, talk with head coach of the Haymakers, also an Iowa Western assistant coach, looking at a little bit of data analytics, as well as Kellen Richards. Alex Sejan, we'll talk with him soon.
All right, guys, here I am with head coach Kellen Richards. As what Jaden said, assistant coach at Iowa Western and data analytics. So we need to ask you, how does data analytics grow a player or a single player or just the whole baseball team?
One of the biggest things when you're looking at data, it gives you an objective result, like an objective way to quantify a player's performance. You can, actually see improvement. If you can't see it with your eye, you can see, okay, hey, their bat speed. For instance, I use blast a lot with hitters. You can say that their bat speed is improved. You can look at their exit velocity, see that different improvement that way. And then also, like, are they moving better? A lot of the times we'll miss things, just the day-to-day looking at hitter after hitter. If you can quantify that with some sort of data, it kind of helps you understand, okay, they're trending in the right direction.
So
yeah, with this here for you as a player, just as an experienced player, right? Especially in the last 5 to 10 years, this data analytics has grown immensely. In baseball and so many other things. How do you feel that has helped you as a coach?
Well, the biggest thing is it helps you know is what I'm giving my players, what am I teaching my players, is it actually helping? Because a lot of the time, if you have to wait till the game starts and see over the course of a season, their batting average improved compared to last year, that's really slow. But if we can go practice to practice and say, oh, their numbers are improving, practice to practice, and we know that they're trending in the right direction every single day, opposed to having to wait, long term. It basically allows you to redirect things more efficiently, coaching wise.
So with that short time frame, you talked about it a little bit. You have just about a week to really get ready and bring this team together to make sure that they're ready to get going for this season. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that helps at all, especially with such a short time frame before you guys get going?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think just being able to understand, how I've been able to coach with that technology also helps me just be more specific in the way that I cue things. And then also just has taught me what to look for in specific, swings, specific, throwing patterns and those kind of things in order to help me figure out, okay, this guy will be able to throw more innings for us. This guy will be able to repeat his delivery more. This guy will be able to stay on plane and be able to adjust off-speed stuff, just because I've been able to, see it play out, but then also see the numbers, and kind of put it all together and think about it holistically.
So in a league like this, it's just the idea is you're developing guys, right? Getting ready for their next fall season or the spring season coming past that. For you as a coach, and you don't have quite as much experience being a head coach, at least at the college level recently. How do you feel having this experience here can help you possibly look forward to your coaching career?
The biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is just being having to coach the entire game. Throughout my coaching experience, I've been able to focus on just the hitters or just the base runners or just the outfielders, but now I'm responsible for everybody. And so just organizing that and also, making myself look at everything all at once is, I think, going to be beneficial for my coaching experience.
So again, this group a little bit different group from last year, right? A lot of different guys this year just overall in the league.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is there's always a different seeding that you guys can keep going through throughout this season. Is there developmental growth that you're trying to look through from day one to the last day of the season?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think right now the priority for me personally with the Haymakers is I want them to gel as a team first, and then so right now that's the priority, and then from then on we can be okay, focus more on the individuals growing for their own personal development. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So kind of with that, there's a lot of different guys from a lot of different colleges. How does that work for you? Just trying to be able to make sure that they kind of mesh.
The biggest thing is I just want them to understand that we're all here with the same goal. We all want to develop. We all want to get better, and help them understand that they, they don't need to compete. I'm going to give everybody opportunities, and then holistically they can, grow as a group, opposed to, trying to fight each other for that, that playing time or anything like that.
Okay, so with like your course data analysis, do you think that make you like have like an upper hand on like different coaches or like even some of the other teams as well, like having
possibly. So like the thing that I know for sure, I think it's helped me grow as a coach so that I can see more things. Like I can basically prove the things that I think, through the data, say like, okay, hey, I think that this stuff's important. This is what we should work on. And then I can prove whether or not it's working. I think that's helped me. But, one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of the other coaches in the league have a bunch of coaching experience. And I don't think that there's any amount of data that can outweigh the 30 plus years of coaching experience that, some of the guys have.
All right. So stepping away from data analysis, what led it to your decision of joining the Corn Belt League?
The biggest thing is I knew that I was going to stay in Omaha over the summer, and I was looking for a way to coach some baseball. And then luckily, Coach Raridan over at Iowa Western had the contact with Joe Siwa when they were trying to get the Iowa Western field for some of the games this summer. He said that, hey, I'm looking for a coach, and they put me together with Coach Siwa or Joe, and I was able to take advantage of this opportunity. I was excited for it.
All right, I think we'll have time for one more. Do you have like some sort of expectation or like some sort of goal that with this summer with your team that you're trying to accomplish over the summer?
The biggest thing for me is I want my players to go back to their teams with a better understanding of like a higher baseball IQ. Wins and losses, hopefully they'll come, but the biggest thing is I want them to be able to understand the game better when they leave. So.
All right, well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
To be able to have you here. We'll be right back here on Around the Corner. We'll wrap some things up, talk about opening day. It's coming up this Monday. here on Around the Corn. Just going to get our final thoughts here heading to opening day. Of course, opening day on Monday. 4 games, 2 at Seymour Smith, 1 at Iowa Western, 1 at the Council Bluffs facility. The first game of the day, the Black Sox and the Filth Ballers, the reigning champions here in the CBL. Filth Ballers coming back looking to hone in their craft once again and be able to defend their title. I think this is going to be a fun one to start off, especially for a great opening day like this.
Yeah, I can agree. The reigning national championship and another great team should be a fun one. Should be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, it's just like the tradition in Major League Baseball. You always have the defending champion in the marquee game, and here we go, getting off the ground, getting off and running with the defending champs, the Filth Ballers. Should be a great way to get things going.
And I think it would be interesting to see how the Filth Ballers attack this season as well, knowing that there's a huge target on their backs. I mean, they're the reigning champions. They won the regular season. They won the postseason. They really did everything right last season, and so knowing that every team is gunning for them, I wonder how that affects their mental play, how they're going to go into games knowing that everyone's hunting for them.
Yeah, I was talking to a player at Media Day, asked about they're trying to go for 3, and they're like, yeah, we are. We're trying to go for 3. We are going to get that third one. There's confidence in this team, and rightfully so. But whoever wins this game is going to have such momentum just starting off the season. If the Filth Ballers win, it's like as expected. But if the Black Sox win, we just beat the reigning champions. We have all the momentum in the world. It's really just the perfect starting off game.
Yeah, I mean, even last year we talked about it for the mix between the Rail Riders and the Filth Ballers. Those are the 2 main teams that we saw all of last year, the 1 and 2 spots. 5 different guys came from those 2 teams. The top 5 guys all came from those 2 teams in the average leaders last year for this for this league. Could be the same this year. Again, a lot of new guys. Some guys come back with 30 to 40 guys we've seen come back this season. So, it could be a lot of different changes. But a big thing to talk about as well, our first game this season at Iowa Western, first game for this league at Iowa Western, a great new facility they've been able to put out there. The Haymakers and a new team, the Crop Dusters.
Crop Dusters, best logo in the league. We mentioned that before. So it'll be interesting to see how they attack a new season as a completely new team. No one really knows what to expect from them. Are they a hitting team? Are they a pitching team? How do they defend? Are they going to make the routine plays well? Are they going to do the little things right? I think that's a huge thing to watch for in that opening game for the Crop Dusters.
Yeah, and I think back to the NHL, the Vegas Golden Knights back in 2018, their first season, they were expected to finish bottom of the division, toward the bottom of the league, and they make the Stanley Cup final. I mean, who knows? We could see some type of Cinderella run from the Crop Dusters as well. Looking forward to see how they start, not just their season, but their tenure. Yeah, they have a completely clean slate. They can do whatever they want. If they think, we're going to be better off pitching, like Arnav said, then they're going to go out guns a-blazing, Whatever happens with this team, it's going to be fun to watch. But this first game, just new group of guys, new group of pretty much everything. It's just going to be fun, It's going to be enjoyable baseball.
What you said, brand spanking new, so they could do. We have no idea what's coming back from them. It should be fun to see. Should be fun to watch.
Yeah, so now we see our 2 nightcaps, our 8 p.m. games, 1 at Council Bluffs Sports Complex, their field number 7. Of course, Cole Game being able to work out there. Then our Seymour Smith game, which we will be showing on that Monday night game. Going to be really fun one to watch. The Rail Riders and the Royal Blue Dogs, 2 teams that, again, very new, different groups, a lot of different guys that we're going to see this season, a lot of questions to be asked for this group. But you cannot complain about 8 p.m. baseball here in Omaha, Nebraska. It'll be a lot of fun to be able to watch.
Yeah, and the weather looks great as well. I mean, we're looking at low 80s, upper 70s, sunny skies throughout this week and into next. So it should be perfect baseball, perfect weather for the month of June. Can't ask for much more, as he said.
J.J. Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park, they've done a lot of great work. There were some times last year that field would get flooded very easily, but right now it looks great. The field is in great condition. Obviously, we're hoping for no rain. It looks that way, just like Tyler just said. The rain should hold off for this next week, so we should have a good opening week here for the Corn Belt League.
Yeah, it's just going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, the Blue Dogs and the Riders, it's pretty much clean slates for everyone, but it's how you attack it. It's your mentality on what you're going to do. You're starting off an entirely new league. Like Jane said, only 40 guys are coming back, 40 or so. It's just the point of attack that you need to do. Are you going to get your fundamentals right? If there's a fly ball someplace, are you going to get it? Are you going for it? Are you making those above and beyond plays to improve yourself as a player? And I think that nightcap is just going to be a great game to watch.
It's going to be a great night, great weather, and then 2 great teams. It'll just be really fun to watch.
That's going to finish us up here at Around the Corn. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. right here, we'll go around the league, talking to different coaches and players to get the inside here at the Corn Belt League. Opening day, Monday, 5 p.m. Watch here on the Corn Belt League YouTube channel. We'll have both games at Seymour Smith. Be right back the next day for our Tuesday night baseball matchups. 2 more games and a lot more fun to watch. College baseball here, summer ball, going to be a lot of fun.